Welcome to this video workshop, How to Succeed as a Nurse in Business. Why are some nurse entrepreneurs able to gain a huge following, while others seem to languish in obscurity? Why do some nurse entrepreneurs seem to know exactly what to do next to grow their businesses, while others don't even know where to start? And why are some nurse entrepreneurs clear about how to scale their businesses, while others are still trying to do everything themselves? In this free workshop, I'll share the answers to these questions so you too can run a profitable nurse-owned business. Hi, my name is Christy Hendricks. I'm the founder of the Registered Nurse Innovators, Influencers, and Entrepreneurs Network, or simply the ARNI Network. I'm also a course creator, teacher, and mentor to hundreds of nurse entrepreneurs just like you. Welcome to my brand new video workshop, How to Succeed as a Nurse in Business. In this first video, you're going to discover a 6-part blueprint for understanding how to build a thriving business. This is going to immediately help you get clarity around where to put your time, money, and resources. Once you get this down, you'll start experiencing clarity and direction like never before. So if you're in the early stages of building your business, but aren't getting the clients or customers you thought you should have by now, or you're an experienced nurse entrepreneur who isn't growing at the pace you want, stay with me, because you're going to discover how nurse entrepreneurs like you and me can achieve more success and freedom, and why it's critical you understand how these parts come together to form the foundation of a successful business. The goal of this workshop is simple: to help you more easily grow a profitable nurse-owned business. Today I'll show you the first step by helping you understand the 2 things you must identify in order to attract customers so that you can spend your time serving them instead of looking for them. And that'll give you a greater opportunity to experience more success in your business and more freedom in your life. Are you ready to make this happen? All right, now before we dig in, I've got to warn you about something critically important. And not paying attention to this virtually guarantees you'll never have time to enjoy the things in life that you thought your business would free you to do. Right now, you might think there's too much to learn about business and marketing, and that you'll never be able to gain the knowledge and skills necessary in a reasonable amount of time. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if instead you had all the knowledge and skills at your disposal? I get this is counter to what you may have been told by, well-meaning friends and family about running a business. I heard it myself from my own family. What do you know about running a business? I mean, we were trained to be nurses, not business people. But this fundamental shift is one reason why this blueprint works so well. In fact, you might have already tried to understand everything you need to grow your business, and it didn't work out the way you'd hoped. Today you'll see how to do this in a whole new way. I'm sure you'll agree, trying to run a profitable nurse-owned business isn't always as simple as some people make it seem. I mean, it comes with its challenges. Like maybe you tried to build a website, master email marketing, sell online courses, or even enter into strategic partnerships. Maybe you were left wondering, can I really do this? Can I really run a business? If this sounds familiar, I get it. So many nurse entrepreneurs have tried the exact same things, including myself. And we've heard that little voice of doubt in our head, wondering if it's possible. Well, I'm here to show you it is. That's why in this video series, I'm going to demystify the process of growing your business, which will save you a lot of time, money, and frustration. In this first video, I'm going to share a blueprint that I've developed after years of trial and error. It's called the Nurse Entrepreneur's Business Success Blueprint. Pretty original, right? Well, if you never have the time to enjoy the things in life that you thought your business would free you to do, this is going to serve as a tremendous resource to eliminate that frustration and help you understand what you need to follow in order to build and grow your business. Maybe you're in the early stages of building your business, or maybe you're an experienced nurse entrepreneur. Either way, you're in the right place, because after this video, you'll understand how the 6 parts of the blueprint work together to create business success. I developed this blueprint for you because I saw so many nurses becoming completely sidetracked, taking on tasks and projects that brought them nothing but aggravation. For example, I saw nurses in the early stages of building their business trying to teach and get booked for speaking engagements before they had even pinpointed their target audience. And if you're an experienced nurse entrepreneur and you aren't growing at the pace you want, it's often because the right marketing strategy isn't in place. I could go on, but I know that we nurses want clarity because, in full transparency, that was my story too. Before I outline the Nurse Entrepreneur's Business Success Blueprint and the specifics for each part, you might be wondering how I got into all of this and figured it out. Well, let me tell you so that you can understand where it's coming from. It started when I knew I had to create a successful business in order to get out from under an employer and start living my life on my own terms. And I needed to generate my own income to do that. But I wasn't sure I could because I wasn't a business expert. And to be honest, I doubted I could because I knew nothing about marketing. And technical stuff? Psh, right over my head. On top of that, I figured it was going to cost too much. If any of this sounds familiar, let me tell you, I know exactly what it's like. I felt like a failure and even questioned whether I could do it at all. I mean, like I would always kind of joke and say, I'm just a nurse. But I was tired of traditional nursing roles and employment. And I knew that launching and growing a successful business was the key to getting the autonomy and freedom I was so desperate for. So I set out to find a way to make it happen. Once I got past my objections and started believing and investing in myself, I started to see massive growth. I set out to do this and it's happened. I mean, I now run a successful business. And this helped me understand what you've got to identify in order to be successful in business, which is exactly what I was going for. And if you're ready for forward movement in your business too, you're going to love what's coming up. Because this story doesn't stop with me. Everything I'm about to share with you is the exact plan I followed to create my own successful business. And it's led me to experience the freedom to spend time with my family whenever and wherever I want. So here's my family. That's my husband, Jeff, on the left, holding our very first grandbaby, our little granddaughter, Rylan May. And she's a cutie. We kind of dig her. And then in the middle there, those are our 2 daughters, Megan and Madison. And that is at Megan's wedding. Megan is obviously the bride there. She's the oldest. And that she's picking up her sister. And that was in San Diego, where Megan and her husband, Ryan, got married. And then over there on the right is just the delight of my life. That's little Rylan May again, holding her mermaid, just looking like a happy little thing. So I did all of this for them and for myself too, really starting a business because I was so frustrated by clinical practice and not just clinical practice, because I was in other areas of nursing as well, in teaching and community health and such. But I had this something inside me that just said, you know what, you need to go for it. You need to do it. And I knew that I would never be happy in a traditional nursing role. And so I did it for myself, for my own satisfaction. And I also did it for my family. And I'm just happy to say that now, I'm able to go down to San Diego because Jeff and I don't live in San Diego any longer, but we can go down to San Diego and visit our family and our grandbaby anytime we want. Although he's a little tied, he's tied to a job, but I can get away whenever I want. So, but even more importantly, this means that you'll experience more profitability in your business and more freedom in your life. And that's what I want for you. All nurse entrepreneurs could use that, which is why I want to make this easy for you. So coming up, I'll share just how to do it. The purpose of How to Succeed as a Nurse in Business is to help you quickly know where to place your energy and resources so you can work toward greater efficiency and profitability. To get started, I created a simple PDF to help you keep notes and to provide even more value from this training. You'll see the download link on this page. So hit pause on the video now so you can download your own copy. And then once you're ready, we'll continue. So as I go through each part of the blueprint, I want you to identify obvious areas of opportunity for your current situation. Are you ready? I'm about to share with you 6 areas of focus, which together serve as the foundation for building a thriving business. This is going to immediately help you get clarity around what to do next and where to place your time and resources. Once you get this down, you'll start experiencing growth like you never have before. After going over the blueprint in general, we'll park for a while on your message and your audience. So let's get started. Your success as a nurse entrepreneur will come down to 6 areas of focus, which together serve as the foundation for building a thriving business. Every step you take along your road to success will proceed from one or more of these 6 areas of focus, which I call the Nurse Entrepreneur's Business Success Blueprint. The first area includes your mission and your values. What do you stand for? And also the fact that your mission and values are going to influence many things in your business, such as your goals, your boundaries, projects, people, and partnerships. The next area is message and audience. This includes your message about who you are, your audience's message about who they are, and the modes of communication you use. Next is learning. In business, you're always learning something. So this area of focus includes trusted sources of information, competition, what they can teach you, and then also specific topics that you need to learn more about. And then tools and resources. Under this heading, you'll find apps and software, your website or WordPress, and if you have an online store. Also, your physical assets, and then people resources like attorneys, accountants, web developers. Strategies is a large area of focus for any business. If you're working online, you have, of course, a content strategy, a marketing strategy. Any business or every business has a growth strategy as well as a visibility strategy. People and relationships. This includes yourself as the owner and any executives, managers, or a board that you have. And then, of course, there are team members, and those team members can be either internal team members, and they can also be external team members. Those are the 6 areas of focus that combined make up the Nurse Entrepreneur's Business Success Blueprint. All right, let's get started. We're going to sharpen your message and build an audience. All right, let's see. All right, so communication, as you know, is a two-way street. And this, in this case, is between yourself or your brand and your audience. And it's not, you're not going to be the one who's doing all the talking. In fact, you're going to be doing a lot of listening first. So just like when you do a nursing assessment, You need to listen to your patient. You need to listen to your audience to find out what it is that they're saying so that you can be on target with your product, service, offer, or whatever message you're sending out. And that's also, whether it's verbally or non-verbally. Okay, so this is just a little lesson overview, what we're going to talk about in the next few minutes. So what is your audience telling you? What are you communicating to your audience? What modes of communication do you use? And then finally, how do you let your audience know you can help them? Okay, so what is your audience telling you, first of all? And are you listening? And where do you listen? All right, so first of all, who are they? And, it's really helpful to go beyond just their demographics. Like, are they male or female? And what is their age range? And, is it, mom, dad, or are they, if it's something more specific to your niche, are they just starting a fitness program, or they're in a fitness program, but they're stuck, or whatever it may be. Who are they? What are those demographics? But even beyond that, what is their identity? Do they see themselves as, I'm the buff mom, right? Or examples from more like health and wellness or nursing. Or I'm a nurse if you happen to serve nurses. And then more specifically, if you're serving new grads, or are you serving at the other end, nurses that are getting ready to retire. So really kind of tap into their identity and how they see themselves. And also kind of go into, if you can identify different pastimes or sports or things like that, the more fine-tuned you can get this, the better. I'll tell you what, if somebody pops up a picture of a Hobie cat sailing, little Hobie cat, dual hull sailboat, I'm all over it. I'm down. I'll buy it. So, and that's really the impact that you want to have on your audience too. Okay, where do they hang out? Is it, online and offline? Depending on your niche, depending on your business, are you delivering to people who, are online and that's your delivery mode? Or do you have a physical location, a brick and mortar store, and you're delivering to them in that way? It's probably, even if you have a brick and mortar, you're delivering online too. So you're listening to their message. You've got to find out what it is that they need. So online and offline. Okay, and then here's really important. Gosh, their pain or their struggle and their fears and worries. And these are major. These are the biggies, because when you're in pain, think about it. Or if you're really afraid of something, there's an urgency to relieve that, right? Give me the Percocet now. There's urgency, and they want it done now. And you want to be sure that you're in their path when they're experiencing that pain, that struggle, or those fears or worries. Okay, and then actually I should back up and say that the fears and worries, those are really strong emotions too. So they're powerful motivators. Okay, and then likewise, then their beliefs and attitudes. Is it, depending on your niche and what you're delivering, and I will keep going back to this as, say, a health coach as my example, because it's easiest in an audience of nurses. Their beliefs and their attitudes. Do you have an audience who maybe you want to get through to those women that believe that because they're over 50, they can't get into shape? And so find out what they believe about themselves and what they believe about what they can do or what's possible, because that is an opportunity maybe to correct some misconceptions or, do a little educating or be a cheerleader for them and say, hey, you know what? Whoever told you that? That's not true. So use that as an opportunity to find your audience and then speak to them. Okay, their needs and challenges, they're looking for answers. If somebody's got a challenge, there's something they're trying to do, they need something, they're the ones who are really out there looking for answers. So you want to put yourself, again, in their path. Their frustrations. Oh my good golly. This is the monkey on the back. You know, what the heck? I can't get this done, or I don't know how to do this, or I'm so frustrated I can't learn this piece of software, or whatever it is. They're frustrated about something. Find out what they're frustrated about. Sometimes they'll use those words. They'll say, I'm so frustrated because this. So be alert to those words that they use, because you're going to go back and you're going to use those words later on. Okay? So you are looking for frustrations as well. And then finally, of course, things like obstacles that they face. Because when you do go to approach your audience, you've built an audience and then you start building subscribers, you're going to, they're going to tell you their objections when you're going to present your offer. They're going to tell you, well, I can't because fill in the blank. So be ahead of the game and already know what are the obstacles that they're facing. If they say they're stressed for time, they don't have time to sign up for your whatever, be ready with your message. So you need to know what it is that they're saying about time. They don't have time because they've got young children, or they don't have time because they work full time and they are getting home late, or whatever. So anticipate what those obstacles are. The same goes with money. That's a big obstacle for people. So break that down and, help them out with that and work in your solution to overcome the obstacle of having not enough money. It could be an obstacle like they don't have the skills or the knowledge to do something. Well, skills and knowledge can be learned. So that's kind of a weak obstacle, although people will see that as an obstacle. So, but you're there, and maybe you're the one that is providing that solution. Maybe you're teaching them how to do something, or maybe you're helping them practice a skill. And so you can jump in, you're ready to answer that obstacle or that objection that they're telling you about. Could be that they are maybe not real technical, not real tech savvy, and they need a little bit of help with that. So these are just some of the obstacles or objections that your audience may posit to you. So just be ready with an answer. Anticipate them and come up with an answer before you even, talk about your product or service or offer. Okay, what are you communicating to your audience? So what we've done is first we listen to our audience. We just kind of got our ear to the ground. What are they saying about your topic, about your niche, about maybe their needs for your product or service that you're offering? So you're going to listen to them and see what it is that they need, their pains, their struggles, and such. And now it's your turn. So what you're going to do is you're going to communicate back to them. And let's talk a little bit. You're going to tell them, I know who you are. You're that mom with the young children, and I get it. You don't have time. You're exhausted caring for those babies all day, right? Getting the meals on the table. And what are you gonna do when, it's time to work out? You're so tired when the kids go down for a nap, you want to go down for a nap with them. So I know exactly who you are. I know what your pains are. I know your frustrations. I understand your pain, your needs, your challenges, your frustrations, and the obstacles that you face. I understand. Okay, and then what words are you using when you talk to them, when you're telling them, I understand your frustrations, I know who you are. You want to be very clear in your language. So what you're going to do, as far as the words that you're using, is you're going to reflect back to them exactly, word for word, copy and paste, word for word, what you heard them telling you. And when I say telling you, I'm saying, what are people saying in Facebook groups? What are people saying in blog comments? What are people asking in Quora? So go to all these different places and look for the language that they're using and then reflect it back to them. You've got to be very precise too, because when they see their problem in print somewhere where you're offering, your product or service, and they see those very same comments that they make, they're going to immediately hone in on that. And all that other noise goes away because they're going to look at those words and they're going to go, that's exactly how I feel. That is exactly how I feel. How did she know that? It's because you paid attention to what they were saying, right? Okay, so then do you communicate your product or service and your offer with confidence and again with precision and clarity? So I'm sure you do have faith in your product or service. You know that it's solving somebody's problem, but you need to communicate that to your audience. And I know it's really hard sometimes to get on camera or to put yourself out there and you feel like, well, I don't like to sell or I don't like to toot my own horn. But in this case, your customer, your client really needs you to be confident, because if you're not confident in your own product or service, how do you expect them to have confidence in you and what you're offering? Okay, and then what is your promise? What is your solution? They're looking to you for an answer, for a solution to their problem. So what is your promise? What are you telling them? What guarantees are you offering? What results are you offering? It could be down to even something like, how many times will you meet with them each week? All right. And along the same lines really is your solution. How are you going to solve it? What are the steps that you're going to take them through to help them get to where they want to go? It's got to be delivered with clarity so they understand exactly how you're going to help them. If it's kind of all off in like Lululand out in space, it's not going to go over well. It's not going to be received well. They might have even difficulty understanding what it is that you're trying to convey. So, okay, what modes of communication are you using? All right, so we've listened to our audience and we've listened to what they're telling us, and we've talked about what we're going to tell our audience based on what we heard from them. And now let's think of the different ways that we can put our message out to them. All right. The first one obviously is email, and that is going to be through your email marketing provider or your email service provider, whatever you call it. That would be your Constant Contact, your Infusionsoft, your ConvertKit, MailChimp, all of those, Drip, whatever it is that you use. So that's one way that you're going to communicate. The other, of course, is going to be on social media. If you don't already, I highly, highly urge you to create a page for your brand, for your business, and start getting your message out there on social media. Now, this one is a little bit more subtle because it's often overlooked. But what does your branding say? It could be in the colors that you use. It's in the images that you use, the unspoken message that you convey. So you are saying something to people, to your audience, just by your branding. Your blog. So, obviously, that's a very explicit message to your audience. I don't mean explicit in a bad way. You know what I mean. You're out there. It's a very, very clear, very concrete message that you're putting out to your audience. Okay, so what you want to do on your blog is you want to be sure that your blog on the back end is optimized with keywords that you used in your research that reflect those feelings or frustrations and such that your audience is experiencing. Okay. And then also to wrap it up or sum it up, then you might talk about solutions to those problems. So pay attention to keywords, because your audience is out there and they're searching weight loss programs for moms with small children, whatever. Okay. So that's your blog. And then, hey, you know what? Maybe speaking gigs. That's a great way to reach your audience because it's great. It's so good in so many ways. Number one, if you're doing speaking gigs, congratulations, for getting out there and doing that. But one of the biggest advantages, I think, to doing speaking gigs is you're talking to a live audience and you're able to get immediate feedback from them. They're going to grab you in the back of the room when you're done and tell you what they thought of your presentation. So speaking gigs are a really, really good way to open up those lines of communication between yourself and your audience, and then to get your message out there. And of course, your message, like we said before, is reflecting what they've already told you about them. Video. I actually love video. What do you think? It's not so scary. Go ahead and do it. You can do as many takes as you need to do. I really would encourage you to get some videos up there on your website, or even if all you have is a YouTube channel. That's fine. Just optimize it. Put your keywords in there. Be sure to fill out that description. And if you have a website, then be sure to link back to your site. Or you can also link over to a subscribe page, your landing page, or whatever. But that's a great way. Here's what I love about video. People get to know you in video because they see your mannerisms, they hear your voice, they can tell the inflection in your voice. And so it's so much easier than a blog. I like video better than a blog. Okay, there, I just put it out there. I actually like doing video better than blogging. But anyway, people get an immediate feel for you. So that's one of the great advantages to video. Let's see, how else? Oh yes, podcasts. So I'm not a podcaster myself, although it really intrigues me, and maybe someday I'll start one. But maybe you have a podcast, and you can, just kind of repurpose your content. If you did like a video and it also separates it out, and you have an MP3 or an audio file, then you've got the makings for a podcast. So that's another great way to reach your audience. Let's go back to that mom with the young children, but she needs to work out. Well, she might not be able to sit down at her computer or her laptop or whatever, her phone, and watch a video, but I betcha she could put in some earphones and listen to your podcast or your audio files, or she could play it over like a speaker, like a Bluetooth speaker. So audio is really easy to consume. So I would consider using that too to convey your message to your audience. Okay, and then here, the last one I would say would be with polls, using polls. It's a simple way to collect feedback. Polls are a great way to find out if you're on the wrong path. And if your audience, they'll tell you if you need to come back over here this way. They'll say, no, we kind of like it better over here. We like this. Just by creating polls. So if you create a poll, leave room for yes and no, very clear. And then also leave room in your questions for some like short answer or even long answer, depending on what information you're trying to get from them. So that they can, don't make assumptions about what they might tell you. So leave your questions or some of your questions open enough that they can actually tell you. You definitely want to have some free answer space, because then again, you're going to get that language that your audience is using, and then you can go back and use it in your promotional text and your videos and, whatever, your emails and all that kind of stuff. So All right, so then finally, how do you let your audience know you can help them? Of course, they're going to buy from somebody who they know, like, and trust. Well, they know you because you're on social media, and maybe you've been doing some videos, and so they kind of get to know your face. They get to know who you are, and but now you got to kind of take another little step there and let them know that you can help them. Let's take a look at some of the ways that you can let them know, show them, prove to them that you are in a position to be able to help them. So one of them is empathy. Often when we start a business, it's because we had a need and we found a way to solve it. So for example, going back to a health coach, perhaps a health coach was overweight or out of shape, got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and so did something about it. And now they have a proven formula, a way that they met their own success, and they want to share it with the world, okay? Or they want to share it with their very pinpoint target audience. So I shouldn't say with the whole world, because the whole world is not your customer. Okay, so from that vantage point, you have empathy. And when you talk about your story, they're going to understand that, oh, she really does get it. She does have sincere empathy. Because you'll see people out there kind of faking empathy, but be sincere about it. And people can tell if not. All right. So along the same lines, really, is just your personal experience. This is true for me when I started the Arnie Network, or when I started in business, I should say, not even the Arnie Network. It was the reason I started the Arnie Network, is I was chasing all over the back and beyond for help, just trying to do some basics of online business, how to create a website, how to do email marketing, how to get landing pages, how do I get people to sign up for my list, how do I edit video, and, all that kind of stuff. So it's really your personal experience, and if people see that you do have personal experience with this and you overcame it, then you have a lot more credibility with them. All right, reflection. I'm not talking about your mirror. I'm actually talking about reflecting those words that you heard them use. So even if it's copy and paste, that's okay to do. I suggest you keep a little, online little digital notebook where you can just copy and paste, say, from, blog comments or social media comments or what have you, people's the words and phrases that they use, so that you can then go back and reflect to them. Okay, and then here's a big one, authority. So how can you let them know that you can help them if you have the authority? Maybe this is in the form of credentials that you hold. Certainly you have some authority because just by virtue of your RN, right? That gives you a certain authority because you've got the education and the experience behind it, right? So depending on who your audience is, certainly that would help you hold some authority. So that is a biggie. Don't dismiss that. Boy, that's a big one. And authority sometimes, let me say this, authority sometimes is in the eye of the beholder. Okay. It could be as little as how you present yourself. And here's another good one for video. People are able to see how well you present yourself, how well you convey ideas. And I think here educators have a huge advantage too, or people with speaking backgrounds, right? Speaking experience have a really huge advantage because it makes it easier. It's easier for them to convey authority. Although it's not always that way. It could be simply your credentials. If you have articles written, there's a lot of ways to furnish that authority. Case studies. Well, gosh, these would be clients that you've worked with before. Now, they don't even have to be like official clients. If you're just starting out, maybe you've helped your brother-in-law Maybe you helped your neighbor. Maybe you helped a fellow nurse. So any kind of case study, and when I say case study, I don't mean some big long report. It could be a few sentences about how you helped somebody achieve their goals. So you're just going to take an experience that you had with a happy customer, a happy client, whether they were actually a paying customer or not at the time. It doesn't matter. You helped somebody achieve their goals. So now they're a case study, and you can talk about their success, and that gives you some of that that authority, I guess, if you will, to be able to tell them, to explain to them, so that they can see, so your audience can see that yes, you can help them because you've helped these other people in the past. All right, of course, testimonials. If you have testimonials on your website, in social media, you can always email past clients or customers and ask them for a testimonial. And they just give me a headshot, little 1 or 2 sentences, and most people will be happy to do that. Okay, and then, just like testimonials, that would be, reviews on social media or your website or wherever it is that you're able to collect reviews for your particular product or service. Along the same lines would be social proof. These are all very similar, the testimonials, the reviews, and the social proof. So just so that your potential or your prospects can see that you've helped other people before, so you're in a position to help them. So, all right. And then finally, stories. Stories are great. Okay, so here's the thing about stories. They don't have to be long and involved. They don't have to be grand. They could be little. It's okay. It's a story. It's something that happened to you and you can relate to, and hopefully your audience can relate to as well. It doesn't have to be a big thing, okay? Like I just tell the story of my frustration of searching all over, trying to find out how to create an online business. And just from that, I just created the Arnie Network so that I can help other nurses so they don't have to experience the same frustration that I did, right? Chasing all over the planet. So whatever story is really close to you and means something to you, then share that with your audience. Okay, let's wrap up on 3 audience building strategies. And these are going to work for you even if you don't have an email list, okay? So even if you're starting from scratch, okay? And if you're not starting from scratch, then these are going to work for you as well, even if you're an experienced nurse entrepreneur. All right. So the first one is create a social media group. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So you have your page and you just create a group for that page, right? That's going to speak to that, your audience. There's only so much you can do with a page. It's a lot easier to speak to people and tag people. You can tag people in your groups. So it's easier to have conversations. All right. So Facebook groups generally reach more people than pages do. And groups allow you to interact through your personal profile. And you can also interact with your page, your brand page. So either or. Let's see, and focus on industry related topics. So this helps your audience get to know, like, and trust you on a personal level while keeping the topics relative to the audience's needs. All right. So start more than one group if you have audience subsets with different needs. Now, I would caution you, if you're just starting out, I would say stick with just one group because groups do take time and they're going to take some time away from your producing your product or service. So you don't want to get caught. You don't want to go jump out and run out and create 5 different groups because those are going to keep you very occupied if you do, and you won't be able to get down to, actually helping the people that you want to help. Okay. Interview people of interest. Wow. This is an easy one, really. You would be amazed. I did this when I started my business, Change of Shift, and I started interviewing nurses who had left clinical nursing for the most part, in search of other ways to be a nurse. And so I was interviewing these different nurses who had started businesses. And it's really pretty easy, and people out there are really nice, and they'll say yes. They'll be interviewed, and it's actually kind of fun. It's actually a lot of fun. And if you don't have an audience yet, you can quickly gain an audience, because maybe the person that you're interviewing already has an audience. And then you could just be sure to tag them, tag their page. Maybe your potential audience already knows that person. So it's a way that you can get more exposure if you don't already have some exposure. So love, love, love that strategy. Okay, so keep it related to your niche and something that would be of interest to your audience. It's not just going to be a random, interview your sister-in-law or what have you. Keep it relevant. All right, you're going to interview niche industry leaders, could be peers, staff, other audience members, or anyone who provides helpful information or a different perspective. All right, and then you can just record and transcribe the interview, and you can even sell interviews, or just share them later. All you really need to do is, if you're recording an interview, you end up with an MP4 video file. Again, just upload it to YouTube. That's a really simple way. You end up with the link. You could embed it in a website or what have you. But there's a lot of ways then to share that video. Just be sure you put your keywords and include a really good, complete description, because that's going to help people find that interview and find you. All right, here's one I love, and I'm going to get into this a little bit more at some later time, because I really love the idea of events. So creating very interesting events. All right, so let's use our example again of the health coach in the wellness niche. All right, so if you're in that niche, in that wellness niche, you could create an event called like Beat Cabin Fever, a support group meeting in the winter. So this is like seasonal events, okay? Maybe a get ready for summer fitness program or fitness challenge in the spring. Maybe a fresh produce recipe swap in the summer, and a stress reducing guided meditation in the fall. So see how that works? You're taking just something simple, something that is attractive to your audience, and you create an event out of it. You're going to post your event on social media outlets. So just create an event like on Facebook. If that's what you're using, create an event. You can boost that or use that as your ad, for your event. On your website, of course, obviously you're going to put it on your website, and on event sites like Eventbrite. And then ask people to invite their friends too, and to share your event as well. So that is all I have for you today. Just remember, you can get out there, find your audience. First, you need to listen to them, and speak their language. Let them know that you know who they are, and always be reflecting back their language to them. And then be sure to let them know how it is that you can help them, and show them how it is that you've got authority in your niche. Okay. And then we just wrapped up with a few audience building strategies. Let me know in the comments if you've used any of those strategies and how they worked for you. All right. Let's wrap up there. Now that you're clear on how to sharpen your message and build an audience, the big question is, how do you get them to buy your product or sign up for your services? Hands down, this is the most important key to growth for nurse entrepreneurs. If you don't learn effective marketing strategies, then you won't be able to convert the audience you just built into fans and customers. And without this, it means you'll never change the lives of the people you want to serve, let alone earn a living while doing it. What if instead you could spend most of your time actually helping your customers. This doesn't mean having to work much harder. It's just about working smarter using the right tools and strategies. A way better result for the same amount of effort? Well, sign me up, because it's possible. Now, how do you get people to buy your product or sign up for your services? That's exactly what I'll show you in the next video. So if you're in the early stages of building your business, this will serve as the foundation so you see how to move a prospect down the path to becoming your customer. And if you're an experienced nurse entrepreneur, then you'll be able to quickly put this into practice using effective marketing strategies. I'm also going to introduce you to some case studies and provide you with some strategies that you can download and use as an ongoing reference and tool. Once you know exactly what to do, you'll see how easy it is to attract prospects to your offer, and I'll show you how in the next video. Now, before we go today, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me, what would life look like if you could create a wildly successful business? How will life be different when you understand what you must identify in order to build and grow your business? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to read everyone and I'll respond to as many as I can. And if you found this video useful, please share it on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or even by sending a friend the URL to this page. And that is arnie.com, that's RNIE.com/how to succeed workshop. What you've learned here today is a simple blueprint for creating a profitable nurse-owned business. It's a game changer in helping you focus on the core elements of business building. And that's when you can be in control of your own earning potential and, more importantly, live life on your own terms with the people you love. And what you're learning in this workshop puts you on the right path to get there. Next up, we'll talk about how to attract people to your products and services by following a simple process to help you expand your reach beyond what you ever imagined. I can't wait to see you in the next video. This is Christy Hendricks. Until the next time.